Since July of 2024, Samsung's stock has plunged 32% from its peak, erasing $122 billion in market value. Among all global semiconductor companies, Samsung's was the biggest loss that year. In response, Jong Yong-hyun, vice chairman of Samsung's semiconductor division, made an unprecedented public apology. Up to that point, the language that he used was unheard of in Samsung's corporate history. To put this crisis into perspective, Samsung isn't just any company. It accounts for 20% of South Korea's GDP and operates over 60 subsidiaries. For 30 years, Samsung has dominated the global memory semiconductor market, holding the #1 position since 1993. But now, its competitiveness is crumbling, raising serious concerns about its future. Unlike most semiconductor companies, Samsung operates in all three major sectors: memory, foundry, and systems LSI. But right now, it's struggling in every single one. So how did Samsung get here?
And Samsung's really not been able to execute as they have in the past.
Let's break down the crisis and its root causes. Semiconductors can be divided into two main categories: memory semiconductors and system semiconductors. If we compare semiconductors to the human brain solving a math problem, memory semiconductors would be the part of the brain recalling stored mathematical formulas. Meanwhile, system semiconductors would be the parts of the brain handling everything else, recognizing the problem, performing calculations, and making logical inferences to produce the final solution. The system semiconductor market was once dominated by CPUs, making Intel the world's largest semiconductor company. But the AI revolution changed everything. GPUs took over, and NVIDIA emerged as the undisputed leader in AI semiconductors. In November of 2024, NVIDIA even surpassed Apple to become the world's most valuable company. But AI semiconductors don't rely solely on GPUs. Just as having a brilliant brain is useless without quick eyes to read and hands to flip through pages. HBM serves as the fast-moving eyes and hands, rapidly delivering massive amounts of data to GPUs. However, Samsung misread the market shift from standard DRAM to custom high-performance memory, failing to invest in HBM at the same pace as its competitors. Today, securing a supply deal with NVIDIA, which dominates AI semiconductors, is critical. But Samsung's chips failed NVIDIA's quality tests due to high defect rates. It got so bad that NVIDIA even emailed Samsung saying they were deeply disappointed by Samsung's lack of professionalism and dishonesty. Meanwhile, SK hynix aggressively invested in HBM and secured an exclusive supply deal with NVIDIA. As a result, in 2024's fourth quarter, for the first time in its history, SK hynix overtook Samsung in semiconductor revenue. The irony? Back in 2015, Samsung led the HBM market, but its executives decided that HBM wasn't profitable enough and halted research. If memory chips are like off-the-rack clothing, then foundry chips are like custom-made suits. In this subset of the semiconductor industry, Samsung's main competition is TSMC, because both companies manufacture custom semiconductors for clients. But TSMC dominates the market, controlling nearly 65%, while Samsung's market share has plunged to 9%, its lowest ever recorded. At the same time, China's SMIC has surged to a 6% market share, hot on Samsung's trail. But here is where the real crisis lies. Samsung's 3nm gate-all-around process yield is just 20%, 3 times lower than the minimum required for mass production. As a result, major clients like Apple, Qualcomm, and NVIDIA have walked away. In 2024 alone, Samsung's foundry and system LSI division lost approximately $3.8 billion, doubling its 2023 losses. For decades, Samsung dominated the memory market, taking the #1 spot in DRAM in 1992, overall memory in 1993, and NAND in 2002. But now, even in memory, Samsung is struggling, as China's government-backed firms flood the market with cheaper alternatives. Samsung needs bold innovation to recover. But insiders say the company is even worse off than it seems. Unlike TSMC, Nvidia, and AMD, where top executives are engineers, Samsung is run by finance executives. As a result, engineers have been told to write technical reports in a way that even a child could understand them, because upper management lacks the knowledge to comprehend the technical information. This bureaucratic inefficiency has led to an exodus of Samsung's top young engineers in their 20s and 30s. Many have left for TSMC, SK Hynix, or major US tech firms, further weakening Samsung's ability to innovate. And now, the big question remains: can Samsung overcome this crisis and reclaim its dominance?